We're going to be disassembling a Glock 23 Generation 4 from top to bottom. What you're going to need is you're going to need some punches. I have here the Glock Armorer's tool. I have a 1.5mm punch and a 3mm punch. I have a snap cap 40 caliber. I have a flathead screwdriver. That's a precision screwdriver. A little piece of painter's tape. You can use masking tape, any type of tape. Just need something for elevation. A 3-ounce mallet, rubber mallet. I have some ballistol and a little container. So first, let's unload the weapon. It is loaded. Check for safety. Gun is clear. Now we're going to take it apart. We're going to strip it. We're going to put the frame to the side for now. We're just going to work on the slide. So first we're going to remove the dual spring guide rod, the barrel. Let's put this over here. Now we want to take apart the slide. To take apart the slide, you're going to need your punch, and what you're going to want to do is there's a little space in between the firing pin and the spacer. You want to stick your Glock Armorer tool in there and push down, and that's going to relieve the tension on the spring and allow you to slide your cover plate off. Let's see if I get it without hurting myself here. Alright, and we take out our firing pin, our striker, I'm sorry. We're also going to take out the extractor plunger. Put that to the side. And then now we want to remove the extractor and the firing pin safety. Just some ways you can do it. Easiest way is just push down on the firing pin safety and your extractor falls right out. And then follow it with the firing pin safety. So now you have an empty slide and you have your firing pin safety, your striker, your extractor, your firing pin sponger, and your cover plate. What we're going to do also is we're going to take this apart. This is extremely greasy. I guess through all the cleanings it's starting the oil's traveling to it, and I don't like my striker or my firing pins to have that much oil on them. It collects dirt. So what you want to do here is you want to push down on the spring to release the tension and remove the spring cups, and then let the spring go, and you have your striker spring, your firing pin, and your pacer sleeve. Here's your spring cups. Alright, now the slide is totally completely disassembled. Now we want to work on the frame. The frame is pretty simple. It's nothing like a 1911. So what you want to do here is you have two mainspring pins, and these pins pretty much hold everything together. And then you have the backstrap pin, which is a piece of plastic. So that you can push out yourself. Put that to the side. You don't necessarily have to take that apart. Now comes the part of removing your pins. Now whichever side, if you do this a couple times, I like to stay whatever side I push it out, I always want to continuously use that same way. So what we're going to do now for this, for the main pin that holds together the slide lock, I'm going to use my 3mm heavy duty punch. Now you might have problems with this. Sometimes it comes right out, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on where your slide stop is. So remember, this pin goes through the frame, through the hole in the slide stop. So if that slide stop is loose, it moves back and forth, it'll get stuck. So what we want to do is first give it a try. And this is why you're going to use your masking tape. Hold it steady, grab your mallet, just give it a few hits. Now if you see if it gets stuck like that, you want to start messing with the slide stop. And you want to try to get it to it flows freely. This sometimes can take a while. I'm not gonna shit you. There you go. And then you want to get your small pin, and for that, you know what, for that I'm just going to use the Armor 2 because it's not as tight as the other one. Now you just hold that down. That comes right out. So here's your two main pins. You can kind of just pull them out. Now you see on the pin that holds your locking block, if you guys can see that, it's raised at both ends, and it's a smaller pin. You can't really get your pins confused. And then your pin that holds in together the slide stop, it's a bigger pin and it has these two grooves in it. So you're going to put those to the side. Now with those pins out, you can move to removing your locking block. You just take your punch, and there's a little space there. You just kind of anchor it out there. And here is your locking block. Next, what we want to remove is, don't forget to take out your slide stop. And then after that, you want to remove your trigger bar, and your trigger housing. And to do that, it's simple. You just pull up on it. Now we'll put this to the side. We'll show a little bit of that. Now, the last things that you can remove on the frame is the slide stop. I mean the mag release. I'm not going to remove it because it's a bit of a pain to get back on. And your slide release. Now to get the slide release, there's a little silver. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's actually a spring. So all you want to do is push down on that, and then you can turn the frame either way and it'll fall right out. And for this, and I'll show you guys how to put it back in. Okay. And here's your slide stop. Your slide release. Apologize. And then, except for the mag release, it's completely disassembled. Now we'll put that to the side. And now this is good to know. You know, not only for cleaning, but if you have to change your trigger spring, you can do it yourself. I mean, it's not too difficult. So now you want to take your trigger part and remove it from your trigger housing, and to do that, you just push in. Let's see if we can get this forward, kind of twist it around there, and then the spring has a little cuff on it, and you just remove that, and then you can pull your spring. So here's your trigger spring, trigger housing, your trigger bar with your trigger, and then the last piece is your connector, and with your flathead screwdriver you just kind of put that out, and that's it. Your Glock is completely disassembled. So what I do now here is some of these pieces I'll grab that piece, I'll grab my firing pin, my locking block, my plungers. I'll throw those suckers all in here. You know what, even these pins, I'm going to throw those pins in there. My slide release, my slide stop. I'm not going to put my trigger in there. I'm also going to put my spring in there. And then what I'll do is just give it some good old squeezes from the ballistol. Just a couple. Soak them up. And I'll let that sit for a couple of hours. Yeah, forgot the extractor. Lightly do them. Forgot the pin in there. Get that in there. For this, you know, I'll just get a little on my hand, put it around it, and then what I'll do is I'll let that soak. I'm gonna let that soak for a couple hours, maybe overnight, depends. and take off all the excess. Even use a little alcohol just to make sure there's no one on there. I just want that ballistol to seek in the pores of that metal in there. Alright guys, this is part 1. I'll make part 2 of the reassembly of the Glock. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.